Okay. Hi everybody. Happy, um, as usual, 7:55 Eastern Time. Happy Thursday. It's kind of my Friday because back, 30 years ago at the end of February, when it was Brit's birthday and we took a trip to Disneyland right before basically everything hit really hard, I decided that what I wanted to do for my birthday this year was have a staycation, which now feels like some sort of terrible monkey paw wish. As you know, I have been staying home for several months now. Well, a couple months now. It's really only been like a month and a half. I don't even know. I can't remember when I stopped going to work. But anyway, I'd originally been planning to take a long weekend off for my birthday. And it was like, or it is feels a little weird to be doing that now when, again, I am home all the time. But if I take a couple days off, then it at least feels like I'm doing something to celebrate, other than, the other things I'm doing to celebrate, like planning my Animal Crossing birthday party and figuring out food to cook. In fact, after I finish this live stream, I'm going to call my mom so that she can hopefully do a better job explaining to me or assisting me in cooking this lamb steak that I bought, because I texted her. I really like lamb. My mom used to make it for me for my birthday when I was a kid, and I was like, okay, well maybe I can try this for myself, but I've never really cooked it on my own, so I texted my mom to be like, okay, this is the lamb I bought. What should I do with it? And her answers were not helpful. She described a list of things that I should put in a marinade for it, which did sound very good, but not like proportions or what to do with it after that. And yeah, um, I love my mother very much. She's not good at texting. She's not good at necessarily teaching cooking. Like, she's an amazing cook. Her food is delicious, but she's one of those people who seems to cook almost entirely by instinct. So if I ask her how to make something, it's pretty much like, just follow your heart. And I'm like, well, my heart is not as good at this as yours is. So yes, I'm going to call her tonight and try to nail down, like, should I put it in the oven? At what temperature and for how long? And other questions like that, which she does not seem to consider particularly important to cooking meat. Anyway, yeah, so got a couple days off coming off, looking forward to cooking and playing video games, and trying to make sure Britt takes breaks since she's right at the end of the semester and working on her final projects and needs to occasionally come up for air. We went outside onto our deck. We have a third floor apartment that has a pretty decent sized little deck off the back, which is really good right now versus the last place we lived, which was we called it the Hobbit Hole because it was a basement unit and it was dark, and we moved because we had an ongoing feud with our neighbor who hated us. Um, anyway, dark memories, but we're really glad we're not doing this whole shelter in place thing there. And now we have a nice deck where we can go out and, get some air and sunlight without having to get fully dressed and put on our masks and all that stuff. So yeah, I made Britt go out there to get a little break from her work, and it was really nice. It's a little chilly, like the sun was warm, but the wind was chilly. And in the backyard of the house across from us, there were like these three dude bros out there sitting in lawn chairs and drinking. And we were like, oh, I guess this is just the douchebag house, because this is the house where the neighbor who lives on the same floor as us doesn't believe in wearing clothing ever at all. So we just call him Naked Guy. Not ugly naked guy like in Friends, both because that seems disrespectful and because I don't really feel like I have a great sense on how attractive Naked Guy is. Like, most of what I know about him is that he is naked, and I don't know, maybe he's hot. I can't tell. I can just see his nudity. there's like, he doesn't believe in blinds, but there is like a box in his window that looks like it was placed by TV sensors to make sure that we never actually see his full glory. Anyway, these must be people. This was at least someone who lived with him, I assume. Some of them seemed to be visiting. They were not 6 feet apart. I don't know. Anyway, they were drinking and talking and being loud, and then one of them started peeing against the house, and we were like, really? Is this what's happening? Why? What is wrong with the people who live in this house? They're like kids who play in that yard. Like, what are you doing? Go inside. Don't pee up against the side of a house. It was like 3 p.m. Anyway, so it is really nice to have a deck, even if your neighbors pee against their houses while you're trying to just get some air and sunlight. Nike's in here demanding attention. Brit's mad at her because Nike likes to play with her toys, and when she plays with her toys, she likes to meow a lot, like sort of, it seems like she's playing soccer and maybe narrating the game for herself, like doing her own commentary, which is cute, except when it happens at 3:45 in the morning, Nike. We usually pick up her toys before we go to bed, but I think last night I thought we'd forgotten to put them out, or I thought Brit had already picked them up. Anyway, I thought the toys were up, and they weren't, and Nike got to play some soccer and wake us up in the middle of the night. So we are a little mad at her, but I'm very mad at staying mad at the cats. Brit can hold a grudge and, like, tell them that she's mad at them and she won't pet them, and I instantly forgive them. They're just so cute. Okay, so it's 8:02. We're going to be reading Friends Lock, which is the second part of the Mutual series. I did miss last week because I was not feeling the best, but, it's just like indigestion. We're good. And, oops, that's not where I'm going. This one's about 4,400 words, so probably about half an hour. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. As far as Bellamy's concerned, the most awkward part of any new relationship is telling people about it. Given the elevated levels of weird that feel like they should surround dating Clark, he thought this might not be true anymore, but dating Clark is surprisingly normal once he mostly wraps his head around it. She has a job with long hours, but so does he, and some strange meetings, but she lets him know when she's free, and he goes over to her condo and hangs out on her couch, watching Netflix and making out and being generally kind of stupidly happy. If he wasn't, in the back of his mind, always kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop with the whole celebrity thing, he'd be incredibly happy. Even with that, he's still pretty incredibly happy, but he hasn't told anyone. He hasn't even told his sister, and it's been almost 3 weeks, and oh, okay. I do discover bad typos when I'm reading aloud, which is why I should always do it before I post, but I'm too impatient. So maybe I'll fix this later. Maybe I'll forget. He hasn't even told his sister, and after 3 weeks, he's starting to feel like kind of an asshole about it. You don't date much, he tells Clark. She's lying with her head in his lap, checking Tumblr on her phone while he plays video games. The PlayStation is his, but he brought it over to her place on the grounds that her TV is way larger than his, and he spends way more time here than at his own apartment these days. Clark is rich, and she likes having him around. Plus, if his roommate figures out he's dating Clark Griffin, he will definitely try to sell pictures to the paparazzi, and Bellamy will have to murder him. I date you all the time, she shoots back, and he smiles and leans down to kiss her forehead. I meant other than me. I don't remember seeing a lot about your relationships online or anything. I tend to keep it pretty quiet, she says. I don't date a ton, and when I do, I don't know. A lot of friends I've brought to events were dates, but not all of them. There's always enough speculation that real stuff can kind of skate by. She pauses. Well, you probably can't. No? She straightens so she can sit next to him. You're not in the industry. If I bring another actor to something, there's plausible deniability. Like, yeah, we're friends, we were both coming, just figured we'd come together. But if I bring you, it's pretty obvious you're my boyfriend. He smiles. You don't have to bring me to stuff like that. As expected, she rolls her eyes and leans in to kiss him. I want to bring you. Weirdly, I enjoy your company. But if you don't want to come, she adds, confidence faltering, and it's his turn to kiss her. I bet there's free booze. Of course I want to come. That's not it. She cocks her head, and he gives her half a smile. I haven't told anyone about us yet. Not even my sister. I have no idea what to say. Oh, yeah. She makes a face. I don't know either. Sorry. He laughs. Yeah, I thought not. He's met her social media coordinator, who seems cool, but no one else from her life yet. Her mother is aware he exists and says they're going to get to dinner at some unknown point in the future, but Clark thinks Abby is hoping they'll break up before that point comes. He doesn't know if she's mentioned him to anyone else, but it doesn't bother him. He knows she likes him. Usually I don't make a big deal about it, he goes on. I'll start dropping references to my new significant other when I'm talking to her, and she asks me about it. But I'm Clark Griffin. She leans back into his side, drumming her fingers on his stomach. She's not wondering where you are? I'm still hanging out with her about once a week, the same as ever. I'm kind of talking around it. I feel bad, but fuck, what do I say? I accidentally seduced a famous actress on Tumblr. I still don't believe that. There's no way she will. Ask her over for dinner. She can come meet me. Invite Miller too, just like ripping off a band-aid. We can order takeout and they can quiz me about my intentions. Takeout? Clark shakes her head, smiling. That's the part of this plan you have a problem with. If they're coming over for dinner, I can at least cook. You know, takeout food isn't actually a punishment, right? We'd get good takeout. I'll spring for it. I can cook. I was gonna cook tonight anyway. I was gonna get dressed and go to the store any minute. Uh-huh. He makes a show of trying to move, but Clark stops him with a hand on his chest. And then she climbs into his lap, which is a huge improvement. Seriously, I was gonna make you dinner. She leans down for a long kiss. You can go in a minute, she murmurs, and he slides his hand up under the back of her shirt. Yeah, he agrees. In a minute. He sends a group text to Octavia and Miller while he's at the grocery store. Shopping is the kind of thing he does alone, because going anywhere in public with Clark Griffin is inescapably high profile, and while he'll do it at some point, he's not going to do it today. He's certainly not going to do it before his sister and best friend know about his relationship, which is kind of the whole point. Me. You guys want to come to dinner with my new girlfriend tonight? I'm making fried chicken and I'm not telling you shit about her unless you show up. Miller. Sides? Me. Come on, this isn't my first rodeo. Mashed potatoes, biscuits, green beans. I'm even making dessert. Miller. So you really like the new girlfriend? Or you really think we're gonna hate her? Me. It can be two things. Miller. Sure it can. Can I bring Monty? Me. Yeah. Oh, when you see this, you can bring Lincoln too. Might as well get everyone at once. Miller. So you really like her? Me. She's my girlfriend. I'm supposed to like her. I'll text you the address. He's in the meat section when his phone starts to buzz, and he's not even a little surprised to see it's Octavia. Miller takes things like, I have a new girlfriend in stride. His sister, not so much. You're having a dinner party? She demands. Jesus, at least say hi first, he says. I raised you better than that, oh. She huffs. Hi, since when do you have a girlfriend? About 3 weeks. And you didn't tell me? Obviously I did. That's why you know about it. He sighs. Look, I wanted to tell you, but it's new, okay? I wanted to make sure it was something before I told you. It sucks to tell people you've got someone new and then it's over a week later. I guess. But it's serious? Yeah. That's awesome. Where did you meet her? He mulls it over for a second, but he can't resist. Tumblr. Belle? What? I did. That's not a dating site. Anything can be a dating site if you believe in yourself. She huffs. How did you... You know, you'll get answers to all these questions if you come for dinner tonight. And I should bring Lincoln. You can bring him, yeah. I want him to meet her eventually. Another long pause, and then she says, You haven't been serious about anyone for a while. No, I haven't. And, it's kind of complicated. But you should come. I really want you to meet her. She's amazing. I'm crazy about her. God, you're disgusting. Should I bring beer? Wine? Should I wear something fancy? Jesus, no. Dress normally and bring whatever you want to drink. I saw the address you sent Miller. That's a nice neighborhood. Yeah, she has a doorman and everything. But she's dating me, so her standards can't be that high, right? You know you're being incredibly weird about this whole thing, right? Trust me, I know. See you in a few hours? Yeah, looking forward to it. I'll bring Lincoln. He gets the last of the groceries and pays with cash from Clark. The first time they got dinner, he tried to insist on paying for half, but Clark, very reasonably, pointed out that he's a grad student who works at a convenience store, and she was rich even before she got personally involved in show business, so there's no reason for him to pay for food he's bringing back to her place. It does bother him a little in a limited sense, but the overwhelming logic of it is too much to ignore. She's rich enough she's not keeping score, and he's the one turning the food from raw material into a meal. As with most things about a new relationship, it's going to take some getting used to. But the reasoning is sound, and he's getting some really top quality ingredients. Clark's on the phone when he gets back, but her eyebrows shoot up at the number of bags he's carrying. He raises one shoulder, and she gives him half a smile, shakes her head, and mouths Marcus, so apparently she's got agent business to deal with. He jerks his head to the kitchen and goes to unpack. Her kitchen is one of those things that makes him kind of want to cry about the injustice of the poverty gap in the United States because it's gorgeous and perfect, and Clark's ability as a chef begin and end with making toast. Whoever furnished the apartment put the kitchen together, and it's so much nicer than the one in Bellamy's apartment that he's almost guilty about using it. He feels like he's the host of his own cooking show in here. Which Clark absolutely contributes to because she likes to watch him and acts like he is performing actual magic every time he makes even the simplest dish. It's simultaneously flattering and a little ridiculous. No one should be impressed by spaghetti, but she is. So, if nothing else, he's going to teach her the basics. She will come out of this relationship able to prepare a meal if it kills him. I assume all this means that they're coming, she remarks once her call is done. He does have a epic amount of food spread out and ready for preparation, even he'll admit. And bringing their significant others, yeah. Clark frowns. Don't tell me. Lincoln and Marty? Monty. Monty. There we go. That was Bellamy. Monty, she repeats, nodding. So, 6 of us? What did you tell them? Your address and when to come. Octavia called to yell at me, so I told her it's serious and I met you on Tumblr. She laughs. Bellamy. What? I did. So, you're not going to tell them? I thought we were just going to wait for dinner, yeah. He sighs. I'll go get them downstairs and tell them on the way up. It's awkward no matter what, right? Probably. She presses a kiss to his shoulder. Sorry. As problems go, how do I tell my friends and family I'm dating a celebrity is a pretty good one to have. He nudges her. I bet you can wash and prep the green beans. She sighs like this is a great burden, but there's a smile playing around her lips. Yeah, I bet I can. Miller and Monty arrive first, for which Bellamy is grateful, because then, if Octavia murders him, at least they'll already be in the apartment and taken care of. It would suck if he was so involved in his sister yelling at him that he failed to notice them showing up. What the fuck? Says Miller by way of greeting, and then he actually winces, looking guilty, presumably for swearing in a place this nice. Monty is looking around with something like awe, and Bellamy can't blame either of them. The lobby of Clark's building feels like a hotel, and it is still bizarre knowing someone who lives in a place like this. There's security, and a chandelier. So, my girlfriend's Clark Griffin, he says, with a nod to Alex as they head to the elevator. Dude, says Miller. From Gred? Asks Monty. Yeah. No way, says Miller. We're going upstairs to meet her, he says. If I'm lying, it's going to be really obvious in about 2 minutes. Clark Griffin, says Miller. How are you dating Clark Griffin? She likes my Tumblr. Seriously, he adds. I'll tell you the whole how we met story when Owen Lincoln are here, but yeah. We've been together for 3 weeks. She's awesome. She likes me. It's not that surreal unless I'm talking about it. Man, I can't believe you're my LA friend who actually hooked up with a celebrity, Miller grumbles, and Bellamy shrugs one shoulder and opens up Clark's door. Holy shit, says Monty, when Clark waves. Honestly, I was still expecting someone else. I tried to tell you. Clark's clearly a little anxious, at least clearly to him, So he goes over to put his arm around her, leaning down for a quick kiss. Miller's the one with the beard, and Monty's his boyfriend. This is Clark. Yeah, I recognize Miller from your Instagram, says Clark. Wow, it's like I'm the celebrity, Miller says, but he offers his hand. Jesus, how'd you end up slumming with this asshole? Who says I'm not an asshole? Clark shoots back, and Miller snorts. Yeah, I guess you must be. That would explain a lot. His eyes flick to Bellamy. And your sister doesn't know yet. It's only been 3 weeks, and there's not really a good way to casually tell people you're dating a celebrity. I just wanted to get it out before I ended up on some weird gossip website. Clark Griffin making out with unidentified convenience store employee, Clark agrees. That's going to be a big scoop if anyone gets it. Gets it how? Asks Monty. He still looks a little starstruck, much more than Miller. Snaps a photograph before I post one myself, basically. My mom and my agent are trying to figure out how to make the announcement, but if they take too long, I'll just let my social media manager put something up on Instagram. Wow, says Monty. So your life is really weird, right? Clark laughs. So fucking weird, yeah. Thanks for coming over. Does your giant TV have video games? He asks after another moment of consideration. Bellamy brought his PlayStation over, so yeah. Are there multiplayer games? She adds to him, and Bellamy squeezes her shoulder. I think we can figure something out, yeah. Octavia texts that she and Lincoln are in the fucking fancy lobby a few minutes after he gets Clark and Monty set up with a game, and he presses a quick kiss to her shoulder. Gotta go get my sister. She doesn't know? Miller asks. Nope. Good luck with that. I'm gonna be your celebrity connection, right? That's something. Keep telling yourself. Clark gives his hand a quick squeeze, but most of her attention is on the screen. It's cute, and even with his anxiety about telling Octavia, he's pretty excited. He's really gone for this girl, and thinking about hanging out with her, with his friends, and thinking about her hanging out with his friends, getting to know his sister, being a part of his life, that's awesome. Miller jumps off the couch too. You know, I actually want to see this. Are you gonna protect me? Bellamy asks, wary. I'm gonna film it and put it on YouTube. Sounds right. Once the door is closed and they're alone, Miller gives him a calculating look, which was about what he expected. Everyone, he's pretty sure, thinks it would be great to date a celebrity. It's a pretty common fantasy, but it's one of those fantasies like winning the lottery, where what you think about tends to be the big reward and not all the messy details like taxes and infamy. Seriously? He asks finally. I'm not gonna not date an amazing woman just because she's famous, he says. It's weird, yeah. And it's probably gonna suck in a lot of ways. But I met her online, like I said. I was trying to figure out how to ask if she wanted to meet up when she told me who she was. I'm really looking forward to that story, Miller says. It better be fucking weird. Bellamy snorts. I still can't believe it. Octavia spots Miller first, and her slightly peeved expression turns shrewd. If Miller's coming down with you, this must be good. Oh yeah, says Miller. If I didn't know how broke he is, I'd say he was wasting a ton of money just to fuck with us. I wonder what it would be like having to have loving, supportive friends, Bellamy muses. He gives his sister a hug and shakes Lincoln's hand. Hey guys, come on. Monty and Clark are upstairs. Your girlfriend's name is Clark? Asks Octavia. Yup. He's walking, so she follows him, but his sister's no idiot. Belle. What? You aren't actually trying to make me think you're dating Clark Griffin, are you? Just because she came into your store a few weeks ago. She did? Asks Miller. She was looking for me, says Bellamy, hitting the button for the elevator. Yeah, I'm dating Clark Griffin. That's not sarcasm, Miller adds. She's upstairs with Monty, I swear to God. Octavia's jaw actually drops. You are not. I am. You said you met her on Tumblr. I did. How? He's waiting to tell us until we're all together, Miller says. Overdramatic asshole. Fuck you. I'm already repeating myself enough. Besides, this way you get Clark's side too. Hers is funnier. Clark Griffin, says Octavia. It's gonna be weird if you call her by her full name, oh. The elevator opens onto Clark's floor before she can respond, and Lincoln holds the door open for everyone before following them out. He's just been listening, which doesn't surprise Bellamy. In the year that he and Octavia have been dating, Lincoln has learned that the best way to deal with the Blake family arguments is to just stay quiet and let them sort it out among themselves. I can't believe you kept your mouth shut about this for 3 weeks, she grumbles, and he grins. Yeah, I can't either. As soon as the door is open, Octavia stops short, staring in open disbelief at the couch. Clark has paused the game and stood, all her earlier anxiety returning, and Bellamy's on the verge of nudging his sister when Lincoln steps around them and offers his hand. I'm Lincoln, he says. Thank you for having us over. Clark, she says, relaxing a little. Bellamy did all the work. I just washed the beans and told him everything smelled good. Still, we appreciate being invited. Invited. Don't we, Octavia? Oh my god, I had all your CDs in middle school, says Octavia, and Bellamy laughs. I told you my sister was a fan, right? She goes white. Belle, you told her? I told her I was a fan. I didn't know it was her yet. There's a smug smirk playing on Clark's lips. He gave me a rundown of how much he impressed me the first time I came into the store. It was cute. I did impress you, he grumbles. You did, she agrees, and he goes over to kiss her on the cheek. His sister is still gaping. If he's honest, it's pretty gratifying. Octavia loves to call him a giant dork, in an affectionate way, and it's not like he's not, but he's a giant dork who legitimately and entirely on his own merits charmed her favorite teen idol. Seriously, how? Octavia finally asks, and Bellamy glances at Clark. We need beer for this, right? You know me, I think we need beer for everything. Perfect, says Monty. You're gonna fit right in. They get beer and settle in the living room. Octavia's still watching Clark like she's expecting her to rip off a mask and reveal someone else's face under her own, but Clark is relaxed, tucking herself into Bellamy's side with apparent ease. I think you should start, he says. They already know about my Tumblr. Which one? Asks Miller. Hollywood Histories. That's how you guys met? Octavia asks. You like his dorky Tumblr? Clark tangles her fingers in his. I love his dorky Tumblr. I was feeling annoyed that I didn't have any control over my social media presence, so I decided to get a secret Tumblr. Which is probably the least exciting celebrity rebellion of all time, Bellamy teases. Substance abuse is so cliched. I wanted to do something different, she tells him, and he grins. Miller and Monty exchange a look, and he figures it must be really weird for them. He's in the honeymoon stage of a relationship with Clark Griffin. By now he's used to it, but for them it's gotta be downright surreal. Anyway, Clark says, turning her focus back to the rest of the group. Yeah, I found Bellamy's blog and started following it, and I thought he seemed cool and started messaging him. You started it? Octavia asks, sounding vaguely horrified. At some point here, you're gonna have to accept that my girlfriend likes me, Bellamy says. She did, like, all the work. Hey, you followed me from your personal account, says Clark. That was a relationship milestone. True. She'd messaged me about what she was watching, so we started talking. I followed her on my main account. She lied about her name. It's my middle name. It counts, says Clark. And then she started stalking me at work. I thought I was telling this story. Sure, go ahead. Tell him all about how you weren't stalking me. I knew he worked in a convenience store and, basic demographics. Male, 28, biracial. So I was kind of paying attention. He'd talk about seeing celebrities sometimes, so it didn't seem totally impossible. And if I saw a guy who seemed plausible, I'd ask him later on Tumblr if he had any celebrity encounters. And then one day he did. That's when you told me you met her? Octavia asks. Yeah, and like I told you, I was very cool. She wasn't freaked out at all. He was surprisingly professional, yeah, says Clark. So you told him who you were? Monty asks. Clark worries her lip. Not right away. It was so weird, I didn't know how. I wanted to tell him, but I wasn't sure he'd believe me. So yeah, she admits. I kind of stalked him at work for a couple weeks until I got up my nerve to tell him who I was. And that was 3 weeks ago, says Octavia. Yeah. Clark fidgets with his fingers, smiling a little. But we were talking basically every day before that, so it doesn't really feel like just 3 weeks. Bellamy kisses her hair. Yeah, we started off pretty serious. Once you stopped waiting for some prank show host to jump out and tell you it was all a bit, she teases. My internet girlfriend is my celebrity crush does not sound fucking real, he says, and she laughs. Definitely not. I still can't believe Belle's blog got him any action, let alone. Octavia gestures to Clark. Clark smirks. Hey, nerds are in. Bellamy can't keep a smug smile off his own face. He doesn't really care about the status associated with dating Clark, but at the same time, it's kind of awesome. Obviously, he agrees. Obviously, says Miller. You guys are kind of fucking ridiculous, by the way. We noticed, says Clark, bright. Video games? They play some more video games and have dinner, and by the end of the night, it's obvious that everyone else hasn't forgotten that Clark is, well, Clark. But they're already getting used to her. And she settles too, starts teasing and joking around with everyone else. And it's as awesome as it always is, seeing people he cares about starting to get along. There are hugs all around when his friends take off, and Owen Miller telling him they're happy for him. She seems to really like you, his sister adds. She seems to, yeah, he agrees. Night, O. Clark flops against his side on the sofa when they're finally alone. They liked me, right? He strokes her back. They liked you, yeah. I wasn't worried they wouldn't, just... I'm Clark Griffin. You're Clark Griffin. It takes some getting used to. She laughs. Yeah, I'm still getting used to it. Deliberately, she fishes her phone out of her pocket and holds it up. Bellamy smiles reflexively, and she snaps a picture. What's that for? Depends on how it came out, she says, inspecting it. What do you think? He shrugs. It's fine. Why? I'm gonna send it to Raven to post on Instagram. Do you mind? Already? I want to go shopping with you, she says, soft. I know it's not a big deal, but... He kisses her hair. Go for it. And then, you can't even post to your own Instagram? Raven says I don't understand hashtags. She opens up a text and sends Raven the picture and a quick message. Can you post this to Instagram with the caption, Night in with the BF? Raven replies instantly. Bellamy is half convinced she has some kind of cybernetic implant connecting her to her phone. Does your mom know? She knows it's coming, Clark sends back. And apparently that's enough for Raven, because the next thing she sends is a link to the Instagram post, exactly as Clark wanted it. Even knowing it's coming, it's a little weird to see it there on the screen, irreversible. Abby could tell Raven to delete it when she finds out, but it wouldn't matter now. He knows how the internet works. There are probably already reposts of it on Twitter and Tumblr, conspiracy theories about who he is and where he came from. We look pretty cute, Clark says, and he tugs her closer. Yeah, he agrees. We're looking good. Okay, that's the end of that part. We'll be doing the next part next Thursday. Since the end of April is coming up, I guess a week from Thursday is the last day of April, or a week from today is the last day of April. I'm going to be working on the schedule for May coming up, so if there's anything you'd like me to read, you should fill out my Google Sheet thing with requests, and I'll see what I can do. Other than that, have a good rest of the night, rest of the weekend, whatever, and I'll be back on Sunday. Stay safe, y'all.